Hey friends, thanks for coming to Koelsch Innovation Lab. Super excited to have Nick and Kyle here from Rendever, and we're about to get started. So hang tight as we get things on the road here. Hey, so we are excited about today. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me today. We're here to talk about virtual reality. The basic premise of this show is innovations that are impacting the lives of seniors across the world. And typically, we only feature innovations that we're actually doing some sort of research with here at Koelsch Communities at this current time. And so we're doing that with you in California. So we're going to kind of dig in on what exactly this innovation is. One of the biggest things that we see with the virtual reality is most of it's designed for very techie younger people. And so when it comes to how do we implement it with seniors, that's really hard to do. But you guys have found a way to do that and do even more than we ever thought possible. So Kyle, you are CEO with Rendever, and Nick, you are Director of Sales, right? VP of Sales, is that right?
Yep.
With Rendever. So happy to have you both. I thought we'd get started though with maybe start with you, Kyle. Kyle, what's a story of how your innovation is actually impacting people's lives? Like, give me a story of a person who is impacted, and then we'll unpack what this is later.
Yeah. So one of my favorite stories, first of all, it is an absolute pleasure to be here, Benjamin. It's great to be with you. I'm excited about this conversation. I wish we had 2 hours, not just 30 minutes, but so I'm going to speak quickly, which I'm very trained in. I'm going to start with one of my favorite stories, which Nick has heard me tell way too many times, but I think was a really, really powerful moment for us. There's this resident at one of the first community demos that we ever did down at Maplewood Senior Living over in Connecticut. And we walked into this community. We had this really engaging group of people, right? It was like the energy was tangible. And about halfway in, they wheeled in this resident, and the caregiver came up to me and was like, I need to tell you her story. And her name was Mickey. And apparently she had been with the community for years, like ever since the beginning. And like she moved in on the assisted side and was just like this big boisterous personality, like was the first person to say hi to you in the morning, like always had this big smile on her face. It was just like a shining light in the community. And then she moved up to the memory care floor. Early stage dementia hit. She had to make the transition up, and it hit her really hard. And what hit her hardest was she had expressive aphasia as her primary symptom. So she went from being this loud, outgoing personality to all of a sudden she shut down, and she lost her ability to communicate and her ability to connect. And the caregiver was telling me the story, and like tears were welling up his eyes. It was just like, I honestly, I just want to hear her laugh again. Like I want to see her smile again. Like I want the old Mickey back. And so me and my co-founder at the time, like put our heads together, like, what are we going to do? And naturally we decided to bring her into a room of golden retriever puppies. And if you have it, like I sent a video, and the reaction that she had, it speaks for itself. And I think if we want to tell people about the impact of what's possible, we should show that video like right off the bat.
It's coming! Come on! This is absolutely unbelievable. I have no Oh, look at that! Oh, I can almost feel it.
Thank you very much. Hello.
Oh, how beautiful.
The best part was 6 months later, we followed up.
So you're telling me that she could barely see, but you put this device on her and she was actually able to engage and see puppies, golden retrievers.
She could barely speak. She lost her ability to communicate.
Okay.
Yeah. We have stories on the scene side, but she could barely communicate. And you heard her, right? You heard her in that video.
Yeah.
She was calling out to the puppies. She was like talking to them. And the wildest thing happened was after the experience was done and we were leaving the community, she actually followed us out of the building, holding on to my co-founder's arm and talking about how we needed to be bringing this to schools. And she was like, couldn't you imagine being a child and learning through this? And if you think about it, what that means is she went from 3 months of no communication to pitching us business ideas after one 30-minute VR session. That is the opportunity of what we can do.
That's incredible. Oh my gosh. Nick, do you have any stories of like people who were impacted by this innovation?
Yes, and it's probably my favorite part of doing sales with Rendever, and one of the reasons I joined is I joke with people and tell them on sales calls I could talk your ear off for hours just about stories that I've witnessed, that people have shared with me, and things that have happened. But one like very personal to me is got married a little over 2 years ago now, and my grandmother could not attend the wedding. She lives at home, has health issues, was not able to travel. And I inherently knew that. I was trying to make the wedding as close to her as possible so she could come, but she couldn't make it. And I visited her before the wedding, and she let me know, and you can tell she was very disappointed. But I told her, it's like, don't worry, it's like, you'll be able to see it. So I had taken a 360 camera with me to the wedding and given it to my brother-in-law and said, it's like, hey, you just need to hit this button, hold the camera out a little bit to your left or right, shoulder height, and record, just as if you were walking with grandma. So he recorded the ceremony, and I uploaded it to our family portal. So I'd created an account for myself, and all our partners have this same ability to do so. Loved ones and family members of Rendever partners can create a free Rendever account, upload videos just like this. So I created my account, uploaded it for my grandmother. A couple of days after the wedding, I took her, Rendever headset, since I'm fortunate to work for the company that I have the ability to take a headset or two to my grandma with our tablet, and got it to her house. And she was on the couch that day because she wasn't feeling well. Hit play on it while she was wearing the headset, and immediately the smile came across her face. And she went from feeling not well that day to being extremely happy. And all that guilt that she had of missing an important moment in my life vanished instantaneously. And it's a 17-minute long video. I show it on some demos that I do. She watched it 3 or 4 times on the couch and made her day. And that's just like one small example, very personal to me. Then one of my favorite ones, or a couple favorite ones from the community, one like our search feature where we can take people almost anywhere in the world. There was a daughter visiting her mother while I was doing a demo at a community in their memory care setting. And so I'd asked her, like, hey, would you like to try and see if maybe your mother would enjoy this and can go somewhere that would be impactful for her? And she's like, let's try anything. It's like, I haven't had a good conversation with my mom in 6 months. And I was like, well, where's your mom originally from? It's like, where did she grow up? She's like, well, she grew up in Germany. It's like, perfect. It's like, what's the town name? She gave it to me. I typed it in to our tablet, found this cool little like stone bridge overlooking this river into the town, like a small rural town in Germany, but beautiful setting, and hit play. And it was instantaneous that her mother started to having a conversation with her daughter in German and carried on that conversation for 30 minutes. And I just sat there and moved around a little bit, changed the location some. And at the end of it, her daughter was in tears, like just pure joy, because she had not been able to engage with her mother in that way for months. And it was the first time she had a solid conversation. And it was the ability to take her back somewhere that was important to her and to her personal history, and that she recognized. And then, as you had mentioned, and with Kyle earlier, like sometimes we are fortunate and able to be part of experiences where somebody is legally blind or has glaucoma. And we were doing a demo at a community with an activities director that's become a friend of mine, and she purposely had Kyle and I come in and sort of knew what she was wanting to try out, and brought a resident down that had glaucoma, legally blind, with her husband. And we sort of the same reaction as the Mickey video, like we have this wonderful swimming with dolphin experience. And the lady has a headset on, and we hit play, and it's this immediate reaction of reaching up, and it's like, oh my gosh, like blue and the water's like, look at the dolphins, and instantaneously starts talking and looking all over the place. Like I'm hiding in the corner trying not to cry. Her husband's in tears, and the activity director that's become a friend of mine is ecstatic because she thought that would happen and wanted to let us see it, and was able to make that impactful moment for the resident and her husband at the same time. And then it gets, when you see that happen, there's so much joy involved. Like everything that we do day in and day out does not feel like a job when we know we can have that type of impact for individuals and their families.
Wow, that is crazy. Okay, so for some folks who are watching today, they're going to be asking, what is virtual reality, right? It's something that my kids go to at the strip mall and they like slice people's heads off for an hour and have a goggle on their head. Will you explain this to folks, like, why is this so interesting, this technology, and what's different about it than just watching like National Geographic or the History Channel?
Yeah, I think even before we talk about like what exactly VR is, I think it's worth just taking a step back. And I think the three stories that Nick just shared, like what we've really come to understand as a company, really our core driving principle in how we approach everything is that the foundation of human connection, it's shared positive experiences. And as you look across, the spectrum of aging, there's all these opportunities in which someone's access to shared experiences is removed or it's limited in some way. And what we knew when we started the company was we wanted to create an opportunity where the aging experience could be full of experience, right? You didn't have limitations, whether or not it was what you could see or the way you could communicate. Like, how can we remove that and allow people to experience things? And so we very much evolved into we have this really social experience platform, and that's those social shared experiences like that is where the impact comes from. And so our primary mechanism of delivering that obviously is through VR. If you've never tried VR, I highly recommend trying it, reach out, connect. We're at every single conference at this point. It's one of those things you kind of have to see to really understand. And so what it is, Nick, do you have a headset with you?
Yep.
It's this piece of technology that you put that headset on. It doesn't weigh that much. Years ago, it weighed way more, right? Different conversation years ago. Right now, it doesn't weigh that much. It's like half a kilo, maybe. You put it on, and you can go anywhere in the world, and you can do anything. All you have to do is put that up to your face, and the layers of technology that empower it, the layers of experiences that empower it, probably outside of the scope of a 30-minute conversation, but it's that headset, you put it on, and all of a sudden the world is your oyster. And what that means is that the experiences that come as a result of it are just limitless.
I can speak from experience. You're absolutely right. Hey, we have a special guest that just popped on. She's only got a few minutes to join us. So I'm going to take a quick pause from what we're talking about. So Lynn Enriquez is a very experienced recreational therapist, active living director. She's at the park at Laguna Springs in Elk Grove. And Lynn, you've been trying this out with older people who've just moved into their brand new home over there at the independent living. What are you finding? What are they enjoying about this?
Well, it is amazing. I tried it out on my own first to see if I can navigate through it. And it was so easy to use that I was so excited. I have several sessions scheduled throughout the week. Ironically, I have an upcoming trip to Napa where we're going to go hot air ballooning. And some of our residents are a little hesitant on that. However, there is the experience on the virtual reality where we can get on a hot air balloon. So I got them to experience it. And now they're more interested in going on this trip with us. So I'm like, see, it's not that bad, right? And I said, look down, everybody. And I'm like, look, it's not that bad. This is what we're going to feel. And so we're experiencing different travel sessions so that we can schedule our trips here for our residents. But in addition, what I've done for team building, for our team members here on lunch, I tell them, look, if you have time for lunch, let's play a game against each other. So we'll pop bubbles, the game on the virtual reality app. And I'm like, okay, we've only got 15 minutes. Let's play a couple of games. And so now, they're putting their names on the leaderboard and they're inviting all the other residents to compete against each other. It's really, really a good app to use. I look forward to using it on a daily basis even. Right now I'm using it 3 to 4 times a week. And we're also I'm going to learn how to use it to communicate with other family members throughout, because I think Emma and I are going to go over that. But there's so many options on that, and it's so easy to use. I've had some people stop their tours, prospects stop tours just to take a look into that, and they're like mesmerized by it. They're like, okay, I'm done with the tour. I'm like, no, finish with the tour. It's amazing. I have so much fun with it. I look forward to it every single time we have a session.
That is
That makes me so happy.
Yeah, it's amazing. Then one day I only had a couple of people in there, and we went traveling around different countries. They're like, let's go to this place, and so I didn't, limit them to one type of experience. I said, let's explore this a little bit since it's so new to everybody. What would you guys enjoy? We tried it with the travel guides, the guides, and then sometimes we do the video and explore together. So we went to different countries. We did the music sessions. We did the meditation as well. So depending on what's going on with them, I kind of find out where they're at for the day and go, what are you guys ready for? I have travel today, but we can do the meditation if you want to relax. So we'll do that. We'll meditate. And then, after leaving, they're like, okay, I feel better. I said, okay, we'll see you for tomorrow's session.
That's
Oh my gosh.
one of my favorite things, and I think is really important, is like what this platform does is it really empowers the power of choice, right?
Yes.
And Lynn, I love that is the approach that you're taking. It's like,
Yeah.
I know what I would love to lead you through, but what do you want to do? And to be able to say like, great, like that's what you want to do. We're going to do it right here, right now. Like that is quality service. And it's one of the most fun things still to this day. My favorite part of my job is when I get to go to a community and lead a group session.
Yeah.
And it's so, I'm sure you experience this all the time, Lynn. Like everybody has an idea of what like the best next experience would be.
Yeah.
But as soon as you start one, everybody just leans in because they're all in it together.
Yes. I give everybody an option to choose. Okay, it's your turn. You make a selection because it's so easy to navigate through. It doesn't take any time at all to get through from one session to the next one. So I'm like, okay, your turn. Let's go to the next one. So it's kind of customized to them, even though it really isn't. But they feel like it. They are empowered to say, okay, let's play a game instead today.
Mm-hmm. And then when you get the family member side up and rolling, it will be really customized to them. So I can't even imagine what those experiences are going to be like for your community.
Yes, we'll find out Friday. We're Friday. Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Lynn,
Emma
I am
Lynn.
very sorry. I was going to just say
No,
I'm very excited for an upcoming Red Eye I have because that means I just got to visit you and your community, Lynn, on this upcoming Monday with Emma. So I am very excited to meet you.
Yes,
Amazing.
but we have to get our community on there somehow so that they can experience the tour virtual reality style.
Very cool.
From out of state.
That's a great idea. Well, hey, Lynn, Emma just wrote in saying, Lynn, you're an inspiring activity director. I love the out-of-box ideas you have. So you're inspiring folks. And
Thank
Carly.
you. I'm enjoying it myself. So I thank you for giving us the opportunity to explore and experience the virtual reality experiences.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for joining us, Lynn. I know you have a big event you're working on, so we'll let you go. But thanks for being a part of this today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
Thanks, Lynn.
Bye, Lynn.
And we actually have right across the campus is Serena, who manages our memory care, which is a totally different population. Lynn works with our independent living. People are still driving. People still maybe even have their own business. Serena works with folks who are living with dementia, and she has just a few minutes again to join us and tell us kind of what is this really like, trying it out over the past few months. Hey, Serena, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This is really easy to get on. I love it.
We were just hearing from Lynn kind of what were the elders at the park across the street from you enjoying? What are you finding people living with dementia enjoy about virtual reality?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me tell you about a little story real quick, okay? So I was having a program in another room, and I had a few residents that didn't want to partake. And so I had just got the VR and didn't get much training on it at that time, but it was really simple. So I got it out, put it on my friends, my residents, I call them friends, and their family members were there. And I put one on the family member thinking she was going to share because everybody was sharing. That family member did not take it off one time. All my residents were fighting over they wanted to try it. Unbelievable. So one resident was doing the orchestra, and she was literally like, she was a part of it. It was phenomenal. And so I had a whole nother activity going on in the hallways. It was
awesome.
So much fun. I love it.
What are you finding are some of their favorite experiences?
The animals, for sure.
Okay.
You know, for sure the animals. They tried to grab the elephants, pet the dogs, and with the program, I have to make sure they're sitting down behind the table. I'm like, please don't get up. They love the elephants, the alligators, the puppies. You know, puppies are always a hit. I have one particular resident who complained the whole entire time, like no joke. He would put it on, take it off, complain. So I thought, okay, well, it's not for him. It's not gonna be for everybody. And then within that week, his family member came up to me telling me, what is this VR my dad keeps talking about? And I'm thinking, oh, great, he's probably complaining. No, it was the opposite. He raved about it, couldn't stop talking about how neat the experience was, and she wanted to try it. And I thought it was pretty like, wow, okay. And he loves it. I mean, he's doing great, but he loves it. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Did they then try it together?
Yes. She also tried it. And I got it on the TV at that point too. So it was really neat.
Amazing.
Really fun. So yeah, I would say the hot air balloon was really cool because people have never done that before. And I would have them look straight down and they just loved it. That was really neat.
That's so fun.
What else one that we did? The car racing. They were the men, because we have a lot of men in our community. So I had a lot of the guys do that. And they were pretending they were driving. So I'm really looking forward to next Monday. I believe Emma's going to do the VR fit.
Yep.
So the way she described it to me, did she tell you about that, Benjamin? I think we're going to have like the bicycles. Like on the video and on the VR, and then they're gonna actually bring something in to stimulate, like they're riding on a bike.
Oh wow!
Like a little pedals, I believe. Am I saying that right, guys?
Yeah. So it's our new platform, Rendever Fit, which is we have obviously a number of communities that we've been working with for a really long time that are having amazing experiences, and we've had a growing group asking what's next, right? What is the opportunity next? Like we have these residents who love VR. They always talk about Rendever and like we're doing all these sessions, but we also want to know like what we're going to be able to do next. And so we just officially launched Rendever Fit, which is like honestly, it's amazing. And I'm obviously biased, but
I'm excited.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear her experiences. I didn't know this was happening. Nick just told me that he's heading down there on Monday too. So we're gonna have some great, and so it'll be a great time. But what it does is it takes a platform that combines physical exercise, which is obviously important, but it combines it with cognitive stimulation, and it combines it with social engagement, which is the backbone of our entire company, right? Everything we do is about getting people to do things together. So it takes those three modalities and puts them together. And all existing research shows that by combining modalities, we should have increase in efficacy. And so I'm really, really excited. I'll say like we have been doing demos over the past year, just seeing it in communities. And, I think Lynn mentioned, or Serena, did you mention, what have you mentioned, like the staff side of things? And like when it comes to staff training and staff bonding and team building.
Oh, I haven't done it yet, but I can't wait.
Literally, you can hear like laughter ringing throughout the hallways because people get so into it. It like has the right amount of competitive element where people really like lean in and want to get it. So we see staff competing with staff, we see residents competing with residents, but everybody just has this huge smile on their face all the time, and they're getting the benefit of these three modalities. So I'm really excited. I'm so glad that you're going to be able to experience it on Monday.
Me too, because I just think it's going to bring them back to like, oh my God, I haven't rode a bike in years, I can't wait to see that element. I'm excited. I love your program. I love it. I really do.
So Serena, I know you said you had some things you had to get to. Thank you for taking time out of your crazy busy day to join us. Really love what you're doing over there.
Thanks for having me, guys. We'll see
Thanks,
you soon.
Serena.
Talk to you
Can't
soon.
wait to
Have a
meet you,
good one.
Serena.
So, Kyle, real quick, why did you start this company? I mean, you could have done anything with your life. For what were you doing before you started this company? I think you were in some research and some sort of educational work.
Yeah.
What the
Yeah,
heck?
I've done a little bit of everything in my life to date, but I'd say that ever since I was a kid, like working with older adults has been a very, very big part of my life. Like I grew up volunteering in a local assisted living community. I tell this story all the time. That community had an in-house ice cream parlor, and I have yet to visit another community with an in-house ice cream parlor. So you should install an in-house ice cream parlor because it really attracts volunteers. And I had like the best time. And I remember there's this one moment, and I tell this story all the time, where a gentleman walked into the parlor. I locked eyes with him. And I pointed at him and I said, "You want rum raisin with chocolate sprinkles?" And the smile that spread across his face from that small moment of recognition and connection was it sticks with me all the time. And it's really, I think, why we take the approach that we do. And like really everything for us is about building connection through experience. And that can be the little moments and it can be the big moments, but we've created a platform that empowers those moments to happen. And so I did a whole bunch of things, but ultimately I knew I was going to end up with older adults. And I think I had a negative experience with my grandmother, moving her into a community where she didn't really integrate into the community. And she fell into what we now understand as this trap of social isolation. And we started really digging into the data behind what social isolation does to someone. We knew we needed to do something. And I don't think we have enough time to go into like the full detailed side of it, but at this point, everybody has experienced social isolation to some component. So everybody kind of understands what it does, and knowing that Rendever is delivering these moments that allow people to connect and spark connection, and the communities are able to take those and really build like authentic relationships. It's like Nick said, it's hard to feel like work.
And Nick, why did you join Kyle in spreading the news of this across the world? Because you're one of Kyle's champions in getting out there to spread the message. Why? I mean, I understand your grandma had a really powerful experience, but any other reasons why?
I'm idealistic, really, at like my core. I want to know what I do from a work perspective is going to benefit individuals' lives in a positive way. I'm fortunate. My wife is a surgeon, so she's really helping people day in and day out. So when we moved to Boston for her role, I had asked her if she minded if I took a little bit longer to find a role, because I wanted to do something that I don't have to tell a story to myself when I wake up every day, and what I'm doing is helping somebody. And like I was fortunate and ran into a networking group in Boston, and they mentioned like, "Oh, you should look at like Angels List." Like, I'm sure I don't know what that is, and was scrolling through it and saw Rendever. The name caught my eye, and I looked at it, and the mission behind it just grasped me instantaneously. It's like the power of shared positive experiences to combat social isolation. And just from the description, and the one time I had tried VR, like I've been with Rendever a little over 3 years now, and had tried VR once, maybe 3 years before that. I was like, okay, I can see exactly how that would work if it's shared, and you have these headsets on that are transporting you back to important places in your life, and could immediately see the benefit it would have on like my grandmother. I have some older aunts and uncles as well, and I've tried it with the majority of my family, and they all absolutely love it. But the mission jumped out at me, and I could see the positive benefits that it would have, and that it's easy every day knowing what we're doing is making somebody smile somewhere. And even like today, we're doing a Rendever live session. We call it a can't miss session. We do every third Wednesday of the month, and it's a Irish folk singer that is joining live in celebration of St. Patrick's Day. But it's just nice knowing we're bringing all these other communities together through our live sessions. So we're forming community outside the four walls of communities and allowing people to connect in even like more impactful ways, where they know they're joining groups around North America for these live sessions and having these wonderful experiences together. And like it's like that jumped out at me the first time I read about Rendever.
Now, so as I've been listening to both of you, I keep hearing this idea of togetherness and community. And honestly, VR and community don't really seem to match most of the time. VR is often a very personal experience where you separate yourself from your friends, your family, and your world, and you go into a fake world. That's how many of us see VR, at least from the outside. So just kind of dive in just a little bit more on like how you've rearranged this technology so that what could be a very isolating experience with a fake world becomes a very real, authentic experience of relationship.
Yeah. There's a lot of details that we could poke at here. But what happens when you put someone in a headset, like you said, there's an opportunity that they're just separate, right? They're in a different world. And we were hearing that a lot in the beginning. That's why I think we had a lot of like confusion in the beginning, that when you put two people next to each other, you put them in a headset and you put them standing on top of the cliffs of Moher. I just did this earlier today. And they look down at the same time. And at the same time, they're like, oh, and they have that reaction together because the experience is shared. And it's crafted in a way that leads to those like little micro moments of expression. By doing those together, you're kind of planting the seeds of a connection. You're allowing people to react together, to smile together, to laugh together, whatever the experience is. Like you're creating those. And what we train the staff to do, and what staff that work in these communities are already really good at, is taking a moment like that and running with it. And so what we're doing is we've crafted the entire platform, from ease of use, as you heard from your staff members, and really being able to get up and running quickly, get a session up and running. And then we empower them with a tablet, and not just like the ability to press play, right? But every single experience that they lead, they have a conversational platform on top of it, which gives them the tips and tricks that they need to actually build those moments and take those moments and create those moments, and then do what they do best, which is create like the life and like infuse it with like these elements of thriving that the industry is talking about so much. And it happens every single day, like every single day.
I love how you flipped technology that could be very isolating and created something that actually brings people together in a bigger way than something like bingo does, right? This really brings people together in a really incredible emotional way.
Yeah. Like
go ahead.
I was just going to say, sort of like Lynn and Serena, how they were saying, like they have 4 headsets at the community. So when they're running a session and there's 4 people wearing the headsets, as Kyle said, and they're on the cliffs of Moher and they look down, all 4 people looking down at the same time are in the same experience together, seeing the same thing. But as if they're traveling there in real life. So if I look left and Kyle looks right and you're looking straight ahead, Benjamin, we're all experiencing it together, but able to look around as if I'm standing there in person.
And Kyle, were you going to say one more thing on that?
Yeah. The only other thing, I'm at a community right now, and I had the pleasure of leading like a nice group session. This community started with 4 headsets, and within, it must have been like 2 months, they were like, we need more than 4. Like there's so many residents who want to be a part of this. And, we built out the capability, which I think Serena mentioned, the ability to cast it to a TV. So those who weren't a part of the experience in the headset could still be a part of the overall experience. But they were immediately like, we need more headsets. We need more of it. And it's not, it's because more people want to be participating in the like aha moments that happen through each experience.
Man,
now the connection's undeniable.
It sounds like NIH also had an aha moment. The National Institute of Health, they just gave you $2 million to do research. What the heck does our government see going on in this technology that they're willing to fund to that level? What are you doing?
I will be fully transparent and say it took a while of knocking on their door for them to say, okay, we believe in this. Let's figure out what's happening. So what we're doing with our NIH study. It's a clinical trial. We got it funded back in September. So we just finished up. We're just starting our 3rd round of data collection for it. And what we're doing is we're looking at, and this is, I think anybody who's in the industry will really understand why this is so important. We're looking at the power of VR to create virtual family engagement. And so what the study is set up, it's residents of senior living communities and their family members who are living at a distance. They each have their own VR headsets, and they will join for weekly sessions. They'll do sessions through Rendever together. And it'll range from, doing like bucket list style experiences to utilizing every component of our family platform. So family members will go in and they'll do something. We have a tool where you can recreate someone's life journey in VR. So you can go location by location, their childhood home, their high school, where they got married, where they went on their honeymoon, the first home that they bought, right? Each of these locations, build out that life journey and then go and experience it together. And then we have this tool, which it might not sound like VR, but the experience is crazy. You can upload old family photos and old family videos, like taken on like an old school, like a Polaroid or a digital camera or anything, upload them to our family platform. And then the two individuals get embodied as avatars, like look like avatars. They go into a virtual family room like this. They sit down on a couch next to each other. They're two avatars. And then projected on the TV is their set of family photos and family videos. And I will never forget the first time when we did our phase 1, I visited the community. I was there for the session, and that dyad, that adult child and their parent, spent a full 90 minutes in this virtual family room looking through old family photos because it felt like they were together, and it felt like they were reliving these really important moments. And like that's like for us, like what we've done with this technology, what we've built with this company is an opportunity for people to connect through shared experiences. And VR at its core allows you to remove physical distance, right? You don't have to think about physical barriers, which is obviously really important as we grew throughout the pandemic. You're taking away the physical barrier and you're allowing people to connect across distances. And the data that we're collecting through this study, it's just, I think it's going to spark a whole wave of new ways of thinking about building community beyond the four walls of a community.
I mean, that's amazing. I would love to be able to do that with my grandpa with dementia, who's, 1,000 miles away. I can just see the power of being able to also have all that at your fingertips for all this stuff. And I've got 10 minutes with grandpa. It's right there. It's right there. And it makes it happen. Is there any other research that you guys have done or are doing that you wanted to kind of share with us?
So we've done a number of things. I think I shared a video. If we have time,
Sure.
I can speak a little bit to the video that we shared. It is from the phase 1 study,
Okay.
but I think it points to the power of what we're doing. Do we want to play it?
Sure. Okay. Here we go. Do you want to set up what we're going to see, or
should we great? So what we're going to see, one of the really interesting things that we're doing through these studies, and honestly, our decision to collect this data really emphasized the opportunity with Rendever Fit and why we really went all in on Rendever Fit. What we're doing, along with like survey data, emotional data, like we have a whole bunch of measures for these set of studies, but we're also filming the resident, the adult parent in the dyad across each session. And what we're doing is we're doing kinesic mapping. So we're looking at how their actual physical engagement changes throughout the session, and then looking at how that changes through each type of session, right? So whether or not it's like a bucket list experience or an experience from like going back to your childhood home or like this virtual family room environment, like how does the physical engagement change? And what we believe is there's some corollary between physical engagement and full immersive engagement and feeling of engagement. And so we decided to collect this data. In this video, you'll see an actual kinesic skeleton that is mapped onto the individual. And what I want you to pay attention to, you'll hear 3 voices in it. One is very clearly the voice of the resident. One is a voice of Dr. Tamara Fifi, who is one of my co-PIs on the grant. She's amazing. We've been working with her for years, and she's interacting with the resident. But if you wait, you'll also hear the adult child who is speaking to the resident through the VR headset, right? Because he is in the experience with her. So you'll hear that adult child, that extra voice come through. And then what I want you to pay attention to is the physical movement, right? This is not typically in a community setting, as I think you heard Serena say, like we like people to be seated in a comfortable position with a table in front of them so that way they can like ground something nearby. That's not how we do it for the study, but like everybody's aware of what to kind of look out for. And there have been no negative instances, but just knock on wood. What I would just pay attention to the way that they move, right? So you'll see some shuffling of the feet, you'll see some twisting of the torso, right? It's this full body activation where it's not just a visual experience. It's you really feel like you're a part of this world and you're exploring it with your loved one.
It's not just passive. Okay, let me play this for you.
It didn't look like you. Oh, now what do you see, Rosemary? I see her. Oh, wow, looky here. Yeah, well, here he comes. Look, he's gonna come see me. You're on a safari. Can I touch him? You can try. Oh, here, he's gonna give you a kiss. Be careful. Ooh! Ooh! He's getting pretty close. His kiss is gonna give you a kiss, Rosemary. Oh, you're sweet. I like you. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here.
big, strong fella.
Yeah, he sure is. Yeah, I'm not gonna ride him. Look here. Wow. Come here. Come here. Come
He's
closer.
coming. You better be careful. Better be careful. Don't let him get too close to you.
Oh, I wanted to get closer. Come here. You want to pet a rhinoceros?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cute one. That's a big one, though. Oh, this is fun. I can't believe what's going on. They're going to give him some medicine. The doctors are going to give him some medicine. Oh, they are? Yeah. Why are they going to give him medicine? Just so that he doesn't get sick. Oh, now what do you see?
Oh, look at that, Mom.
Oh my goodness, looky there. The giraffe. Oh, look at that giraffe. That is something else. It's a beautiful one. Can you see it?
Yeah, Mom. Yeah, you remember when we go to the Miles Park Zoo and they had the giraffe down there?
Yes, I do.
When we were little kids?
Well, yes, I sure do. Oh, I love going to the zoo. Oh, come here. Come down.
I think he's looking at you.
Oh, he's so cute. I want to touch him. Here, come here. Oh, he won't. He doesn't pay attention to me.
This we could watch this forever, but that's probably the most important snippet.
That's beautiful. It's so beautiful. I love how, and thank you, Shay. Yes, it is absolutely awesome. I love how they gave her and her son that opportunity to bond over shared memories as well as the shared experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what you saw in those 90 seconds, you saw reminiscence therapy, you saw connection, you saw physical engagement, you saw joy, like it. And that's what happens like every time that someone does a group Rendever session. And that's why, like, as you've heard us say multiple times, like, it's hard for work to feel like work. We really have the pleasure of working with amazing individuals and amazing groups like you to create a reality in which we see these things happen and we see the future of aging really changing for the better.
So with that, my last question to you both is, what is maybe I have two questions. Philosophically, strategically, what is your next 5 to 10 years look like without giving away any trade secrets and super, secret stuff that you can't share? Like, what do you see your company doing to change the future of aging over the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, I think, we've hinted at it and we've hinted at some recent things that have happened, but I think the future that we're actively on and actively more than happy to talk about right now comes down to the future of, we've been doing this for 6 years, and we have seen time and time again just how powerful this technology can be. And it's not powerful because it gets someone to smile, right? It's powerful because it gets people to connect. And as we think about the future, as we look to the bulk of what research is showing, it's, someone's longevity and someone's lifespan is heavily predicted by their sense of connection. And what we're doing is we are creating a really strong sense of connection, and we're creating a really strong opportunity for communities, far and wide, to be able to create these feelings of thriving communities. And that is definitely like what we're actively executing on. Nick mentioned it, what we're doing with Rendever Live right now is we are taking this idea, and what we're doing with the Thrive study that we just talked about, and where that kind of leads and ends up, is we're taking this idea of community building to be something that wherever you choose to age, whether or not it's in senior living communities, whether or not it's at home, or whether or not it's with a loved one, wherever you choose to age, you should be empowered to have a community. And, there's a lot of ways that can spell out, but that is the future that we are actively executing on. And I would say that I am a firm believer of what senior living provides and what senior living staff members provide. And senior living staff members are going to be able to create these epicenters, these community clusters of individuals, whether or not they're in their building or just outside of their building, they can still create these communities. And that's what's going to support both the industry and the older adult population at large. And then everything that we do is going to be very much connected to that. Rendever Fit very much included. I won't say anything else right now.
Okay. Beautiful. That's great to hear. Well, hey, thank you, each of you, for being a part of this today. And as you just saw on the screen, if you want more information about what Kyle and Nick are up to, go to rendever.com and get the scoop. Or contact us over Koelsch Communities, and we'll let you try it out. Come in and experience it yourself. So, hey, thanks everyone, and we'll look forward to seeing you on our next show.
Thank you so much, Benjamin.